Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're jumping right into the deep end today because we are looking at a literally catastrophic sequence of events that just totally shatters the Hidden Leaf Village's illusion of safety. And to really grasp this, we're going to experience this massive shift in the ninja world mainly through the eyes of the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Our story starts right inside his shadowed office. The mood is incredibly tense, the air is thick, and man, the implications of what he's witnessing on the sky canopy, they are about to flip his entire world upside down. Hiruzen is just absolutely stunned. Like, his pipe literally slips right out of his fingers and clatters to the floor as he just grips his graying hair. He's watching an incredibly young Uchiha Sasuke totally intimidate the fierce fourth Reikage. And look, Hiruzen knows the Reikage is an absolute brute who uses his fists way more than his brain, right? So for him to be suppressed like that, there has got to be an undeniable, absolute gap in power. He's sitting there wondering, could it be? Has he seriously already become as powerful as the first Hokage or Uchiha Madara? Section 1. The Shadow of Root. So this display of reality-bending power doesn't just shock Hiruzen. It sends this terrifying realization crashing down on him. Pivoting from awe to absolute panic, he starts barking emergency orders to an empty corner of his office. He demands secret protection for Sasuke, initiates the highest possible alert level, and specifically orders that anyone from Root be completely blocked from getting anywhere near the boy. And honestly, this really highlights a deep underlying guilt eating away at Hiruzen. He knows his old teammate Danzo is still operating in the shadows. His fear of losing control over Konoha's internal stability is absolutely peaking right now, and his desperate need to protect Sasuke from Root assassins takes immediate top priority. Because here is the cruel irony of it all. Sasuke's current glory is actually pushing him to the edge of the most dangerous cliff imaginable. Hiruzen understands all too well that even though he officially disbanded Root, Danzo's obsession is very much alive. Danzo will never, ever allow an Uchiha with that kind of terrifying, unbridled potential to just grow up uncontrolled in Konoha. So every single ounce of praise Sasuke is getting from this vision, it's basically painting a massive, glowing target right on his back. Section 2. Illusions of Hope. Now, while the third Hokage is over there gripped by political panic and this deep-seated fear of his village tearing itself apart, the reaction out on the streets is, well, a completely different story. The academy just explodes with excitement. The girls are looking on with this glowing admiration, calling Sasuke their cool future guardian deity. They actually think Konoha is saved. But then you contrast that with Naruto. He reacts with this defiant, intense jealousy, pointing up at the sky and just shouting that it's impossible. He's super frustrated, yelling that he should be the one in the spotlight, the one who becomes Hokage. It's such a fascinating juxtaposition, right? You have the dark, heavy dread of the Hokage on one hand, and the innocent, petty rivalries of the academy students on the other. But what about Sasuke himself? Watching his future power on full display, young Sasuke is barely holding on to his cool exterior. Internally, the kid is overcome with this lava-like ecstasy. His mind just immediately jumps to one single conclusion. I must have killed him. I must have succeeded in my revenge. He fully believes this immense power means he finally defeated his brother Itachi. So the shock just morphs into a blazing hatred and a massive motivation to get stronger, all while being totally unaware of the political crosshairs Danzo and Root just placed him in. Section 3. The World Destroyer Strikes. Right, so in the sky canopy vision, thanks to Sasuke stepping in, the five Kage actually agree to put aside their grudges and form an allied shinobi forces. But literally the very second they reach a consensus and drop their guard, boom, a devastating sequence happens. Without any warning, Sasuke's eyes morph into the Mangekyo Sharingan, and he deploys this massive, purple, skeletal Susanoo. And almost at the exact same time, this massive, immeasurable energy sphere just descends from the sky like a falling star. The speed is completely beyond reaction time. The summit building is annihilated. And finally, as the dust settles, the Susanoo deactivates. It is a flawless, absolutely terrifying sequence of events. A blinding white light just swallows everything, instantly turning that sturdy summit building into straight-up dust. All that's left is a massive, steaming crater. Now imagine watching this happen through Hiruzen's traumatized eyes. He's sitting there in the dim, shadowed corners of his office, watching a shockwave so powerful it feels like it's going to break through reality. The sensory contrast between his quiet, dark room and the blinding, apocalyptic destruction playing out above them is just incredibly stark. Section 4. The Hokage's collapse. As the smoke and the crazy energy from that devastating crater finally start to clear, a figure is revealed just floating in midair. He's wearing a white haori with fluttering blonde hair, a cold smile that is totally devoid of human emotion, and this oppressive, godlike aura. And when this face is revealed, time literally freezes in the ninja world. Hiruzen's physical form completely gives out. It's actually a perfect mirror of his failing grasp on Konoha. All his strength is just drained. He stumbles back and falls heavily into his chair, pale as paper, lips trembling. The man is completely speechless. And right beside him, his veteran advisors are equally bloodless, just filled with extreme disbelief. The sheer trauma of witnessing this is way too much for the old Hokage. And it's not just Hiruzen. Deep in his own hidden corner, the ever-calculating Danzo Shimura is watching in absolute horror. He's muttering, "No, impossible, how could it be?" But with Danzo, that horror very quickly twists into opportunistic treason. Seeing this godlike threat, he immediately starts initiating new, darker schemes. He's already planning to use this exact panic to declare Hiruzen unfit to lead, accelerating his own timeline to snatch up Sasuke for root before the Hokage can actually secure him. The old guard of Konoha is literally fracturing under the pressure. Section 5. A familiar stranger. You see, the shock of this world destroyer ripples way beyond Konoha. It hits the Akatsuki base, where even the usually totally indifferent Uchiha Itachi is taken aback. His Mangyo Sharingan actually contracts as he comes to a huge realization. This attacker is not pain. Meanwhile, the legendary Sannin, Jiraiya, goes through a massive shift in his whole demeanor. His usual goofy playfulness just completely vanishes, replaced by an unprecedented solemnity. He stares at the attack and asks, "Is that a Rasengan?" He doesn't recognize the person, but he feels this undeniable, chilling suspicion that this terrifying figure might actually be the prophesied child, his own future disciple, bringing about the end of the world instead of its salvation. Back at the academy, the kids are experiencing a massive emotional whiplash. Young Naruto initially marvels at the world-destroying energy sphere, calling it an amazing ninjutsu and just pure awe. But then, the contrast hits him hard. He looks around and realizes that the fanboy excitement of his peers from just minutes ago, completely gone. It's been replaced by a deathly, pure terror. A deafening silence has just fallen over the exact same students who were cheering a moment prior. And amidst this deathly silence of his terrified classmates, Naruto just scratches his head, completely oblivious to the apocalyptic gravity of what's happening, and asks a question that frankly chills us to the bone. Strange. Why does this guy feel a bit familiar? And honestly, that is where we have to leave you today. Who exactly is this golden-haired world destroyer, and what deeper, darker truths has his arrival just unleashed upon a ninja world that was totally unprepared for it? Just think about how this single vision exposed the deep cracks, fears, and secrets of literally everyone, from the Hokage all the way down to the academy students. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning the shadows in the hidden leaves.